Well, hello there, friends. On this delightful Friday evening, November 9th, 2018. Actually, a little too loud to keep the window open. It's very cold outside. I believe it's supposed to snow on Sunday, which I am very excited for. Just want a nice, good snowstorm, you know? My soul is craving it. Man, nothing like a snowy evening. Get all dressed up, walk about, just out by yourself. All the street lamps, ambient lighting, bouncing off the snow. Maybe a nice wind to blow the snow around or go to the park. It feels very magical. Just a little temporary moment for yourself, you know? Well, anyway, folks, enough about the weather and time. Got some potentially good news for those who hate my guts and want me to leave forever. You may potentially have your wish fulfilled if you're right in a year. I've basically decided to give myself kind of a deadline of sorts by next year. So technically, with the month and a half we have of this year, you know, it's like the whole, you buy one of those tall boys of alcohol of some sort, and it's like, oh, 1 free ounce, you know? You got 1 year and 1.5 months free too in it, so well, it's quite the deal. It's quite the package. Ooh. So it's great and all to sit in your car, complain and talk about whatever, or talk about what's on your mind and your feelings. But I've also been doing that a long time. Started between the old channel and this new one. I mean, I started making videos in August of 2013, so that's over 5 years at this point. Well, things can't always continue as they are forever. You know, you can blame ignorance, depression, whatever at some point, but you know, eventually it's just up to pure laziness and oh gosh, what's the opposite? What's the word the opposite of when something's not moving? Now I can't think of it. What's the opposite of momentum, you know? Gosh, whatever. So I guess obviously don't have to tell you that I've been talking for a long time but not really doing, folks, and I don't want to do that forever either. So basically, by the end of next year, if I haven't made any momentum, any sort of attempt to rekindle the fire, rekindle the fire, whatever's left, which is very low at this point and very quickly dying, some sort of momentum, then I will probably just leave forever, because I don't want to keep doing this shit for the rest of my life with no progress. So what does that mean? Well, folks, in a year and my extra 1 ounce, There's absolutely no reason why from now on, if I start tonight, towards the end of this decade, that'll be December 31st, 2019, where I shouldn't be able to slim down and lose a good, I would say, 60 to 70-ish pounds. I think my goal weight would be about, I want to get to 200 and below. It's been a very long time since I've been below 200 pounds, so I'm thinking something like 180, 185 would be a good target weight. So, if I start now and actually take it seriously, there's no reason why shouldn't be the case, right? So that's the physical side. How about the mental side? And I think it's very important to incorporate a symbiotic sort of thing between one and the other so that your time can efficiently be used for something. So learning some sort of skill, the mental side, whether it's learning a couple of programming languages and actually doing something with it where it shows that, making fucking whatever with it, that you did something or whatever. I mean, hell, it could be, let's say I really want to learn the ocarina so I can be like, the picnic of time here, whatever it is you decide is a skill. If you start now and you're serious about it, by the end of 2019 you will, there's no reason why you can't have learned it and made something with it, But if not, if at the end of 2019 you're still sitting in your car, still fat, still just complaining about the same thing, then it's safe to say at that point it's not really a matter of like giving up or quitting or something like that, or that, it's too late. It's at some point you kind of have to be honest about your real intentions and interests, If you say that you're really interested in so and so, but your behavior does not reflect that, there's only so much wiggle room for ignorance, depression, apathy, whatever. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you think of something. If you do the action, the results will come. You do the action and you stick to it, the results will come. But at some point, if it's just years and years of floundering and blah, 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 at some point, maybe you'll just have to admit that, yes, I don't actually care, even though I say I care. I'm not actually interested in changing, even though I might say I am. It's sort of, that's what I mean is, it's not giving up or quitting. It's more of like being honest with your actual self. Something like that. So, yeah. We'll see. If you hate my guts, and if you're correct about me, that I'm just a fat, lazy, whatever, who's more interested in just playing video games and complaining rather than changing, well, we'll see. So that's it, folks. I guess I invite you, if if you're in a similar situation where you're just kind of like, you know, day-to-day whatevs, you know, think back of all the other times you said you were gonna do something and never stuck to it, and where you'd be if you had just kept on doing it, working on it. So like I said, whatever you choose, and if you don't know, then go somewhere where you could be at peace, your mind is clear, and just try to think it out as best as you can and pick something. Like I said, you know, this is one of those, more than likely, you know, at the end of 2013, you'll probably be in the same situation, position, whatever you're at now. Especially if you've graduated from college, you got into a job, you're just kind of day to day, blah, blah, blah. Things aren't really going anywhere. So you can see that future. December 31st, 2019. The last day of this decade, right? And now, when you're watching this, wherever you're at, that time you've got that 13 and a half months, give or take. You got your free ounce in the tall boy. So if you start now, both taking care of yourself, getting in shape, and whatever thing you want to learn, get good at, blah, blah, blah. If you start now, and you stick to all that, there's no reason why you can't get what you want in terms of learning that thing and getting okay at it. Maybe even good at it. Maybe even great. Depending on what it is. And getting your body transformed. Whether you're obese, skinny, fat, whatever it is. Most of it, though, is probably going to be boring. Because that's how progress and most of life really is. Just kind of one boring day of working on a thing after the other. And like I said, I think it's very important to both do something physically and something mentally. So, because it's sort of like that whole sound mind and a sound body. If all you're interested in is just losing some weight, well, you're gonna have all that other time where your mind's gonna go and whatever and probably be preoccupied with not the best of things. It's fine to play some video games here and there, but it's probably not okay to do that for hours and hours each day. So you need the mental thing to occupy the time you're not doing with the physical stuff. Because you're not going to be working out for hours and hours each day. That's physically impossible. Now, if all you do is focus on something mental, I mean your body, the physical side is going to atrophy. So you don't want that to happen. So both. So I invite you to join me on this 13 and a half month journey. We'll see who makes it, right? You can acknowledge the future and the time. There's no such thing as the future. Yes, there is, motherfucker. The only thing we have is now. Yeah, no. You can see that day in the future that is gonna happen in the time now. So it's plenty of time to get something done. Doesn't matter whether you're depressed, apathetic, whatever. All that matters is the doing, not the endless talking. So at that time, folks, if I still look the same, still weigh 250 or whatever pounds or fatter, and just still, I did a little here and there, whatever, you got my word, I will close down and delete the channel and get off the internet forever. If that's the case. I know I've set the precedent for that being the case, but doesn't mean that it's completely too late. So if you can acknowledge the situation, ask yourself how serious you are. Doesn't mean it can't change, but if you've also been not doing what you need to do for a long time, you know, so there is a point where you kind of, when you can see the future ahead and then get to that end point and be like, oh shit, I just goofed around again. Maybe it's just time to admit you're not actually that serious. So there you have it, folks. And on that note, I'm gonna go home, gonna exercise, gonna have some eggs, some avocados, enjoy my weekend. Bye-bye.